Hi, and welcome to yet another episode of Talk with the Talent. What a launch we have witnessed today. Our X60 series was clearly a mark of professional photography with unsurpassed design and flagship performance. And I understand there were so many features in X60 series that sometimes it is really hard to wrap my head around how many features are there in X60 series. And most of you will be having various questions like how it is different from X50 series or what is AOA technology. To understand that, we will be having a Talk with the Talent session with none other than Vikas Tagra, the product head of X series. Alright, now to help us on our quest by sharing his wisdom, I'm so glad to welcome again Mr. Vikas Tagra, product head X series. Hi Vikas, and first of all, let me tell you, what a great launch, and thank you so much for joining us. How have you been?
Hey Miraj, thank you for having me here. Before even we get started with our launch nitty-gritties, let me tell you this is the first launch of our 2021. And we at Vivo are extremely excited about it. And I'm sure all my VBA team out there are equally excited as I am.
The first question of today's podcast. So I want to know, we launched X50 series, which was an icon and a pretty iconic series. The first series with gimbal stabilization, and that too 1 year later. And it still is, according to me, a technology of the future. It's still, even if we would have launched X50 series today, it still would have been very, very new and fresh to the system. Now coming to X60 series, my first question is, how did we upgraded an already awesome phone?
Truly valid question, Miraj. In fact, let me tell you friends, X50 series itself was a great rocket. You know, you all made it a success. We got an overwhelming response within very few months. We were actually stocked out for our X50 Pro. But again, I would say whether it is X50 or X60, consumer centricity, the consumer driven approach has actually led us to this journey. And whether, we actually deep dive into our consumer and we actually interlock with all of you also whenever we strategize our next products. And before even I talk about X60, I would want to talk about even X50 series, the inbuilt gimbal. I think that created a lot of waves in the market,
yes.
Right? And continuing this same technology breakthrough in X60 series, we have done some improvisations, which I'll tell you a little later. Yeah, but I think if you ask me what are the actual upgrades from X50 to X60, there are quite a few. A few, but let me just tell you a couple of things which comes to my top of the mind. Yep. First thing first, people did mention in X50 series that processor capabilities are not really up to the mark. So this time in X60 series, all the three variants, the three phones have got latest of the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 series.
Wow.
Yeah, that's first one. Second, if you ask me, people did mention that X50 didn't have 5G. Had it been 5G enabled, could have done some more wonders.
Yes.
So now all three variants are 5G ready and future ready.
Awesome.
Third, I can go on and on, but what comes to my mind, what the big enhancement which we have done in terms of camera capability, because that's in our DNA.
Yes.
Right. So in X60, you might have seen there is a Zeiss logo on each and every phone on the back side, the camera module. That's the biggest differentiation because we wanted to redefine the pro photography capabilities this time with our X60 series. And with X60 series, not only the higher variant, even the lower variant are all powered with Zeiss standards.
Okay.
And the fourth bigger benefit is you will find more higher RAM and ROM combination across our X60 series.
That's amazing.
And
okay, there's still more. Okay, go ahead.
If you look at the design aspects, right? We discovered from our consumer researches, a lot of researches we do, right? So we discovered that people really admire the aesthetics, the appeal, the slimness, the ergonomics, right? So this time you will find even X60, the lower variant, is the ultra sleekest. It's hardly 7.36 mm, even slimmer than our V20 series.
So that's great, Vikas, and it's really interesting to see that अब हमारे जो भी तीनों phones हैं, all three phones are 5G ready, and as you said, all three phones have lenses and Zeiss technology. So that brings me to the next question, which is why did we went ahead with Zeiss, and what does Zeiss bring to our table?
Sure,
Yeah.
Miraj. In fact, very good question again. Why we went ahead with Zeiss.
Uh-huh.
So before even I answer, there are two parts to it. What did we do differently? What Zeiss brings on the table?
Yeah.
And why did we went ahead with
With
Zeiss, right? So let me answer the first part first.
Mm-hmm.
We went ahead with Zeiss with a lot of thoughts behind it, right? When we were conceptualizing our X60 series,
Yeah.
we had a mission in our mind.
Okay.
We wanted to redefine the pro photography capabilities, right? That's what we're known for, right?
Yeah.
That's what X meant for. In fact, keeping that logic and direction in mind, we were looking for partners who could actually shoulder us in redefining these pro photography capabilities.
Okay.
And while exploring all of them, right, we realized why not go together with someone who's 175-year-old and that too a global optic pioneer.
Wow. 175 years old?
Yeah. That's the reason we decided to go together with Zeiss. And actually, Zeiss engineering team and Vivo engineering team worked together for few months,
Okay.
right, to bring lot of extraordinary features. Let me tell you now what part of it. You might have seen in the launch we did talk and showcase lot of images, right? Let me put it simply what it does to the consumers, right?
Okay.
First thing first, whenever you take wide angle shots, you end up getting and seeing if it is like a landscape of buildings, the building gets tilted, it gets bended.
Yeah, I think that's what I've noticed in the launch as well. कि वो एक curve आ जाता है. Whenever we are clicking on a wide angle, there's a curve.
बिल्कुल आपने सही पकड़ा है. Actually, these are the things which we actually fixed with the Zeiss collaboration of ours.
Okay.
So no more curving of contours. Whenever you take wide angle shots, it brings enhanced sharpness, clarity, and true shape to the final image. That's one of the big benefit which
That's
we bring.
amazing.
Continuing further, second, if I'll tell you, what we realized there is a Zeiss T-Star coating you must have noticed
Yes.
in X60 Pro Plus,
Uh-huh.
the flagship phone we have.
Yeah, I was
what
hearing
is this? Yeah, so I think that's amazing technology we are bringing, which is industry first multi-layered nano crystalline coating, and there are a lot of magics around this coating. Let me tell all our VBA team इसका मैजिक टी स्टार कोटिंग का बहुत ही बेहतरीन है. बिकॉज ये टी स्टार कोटिंग जितनी भी एक्सेस रिफ्लेक्शन ऑफ लाइट्स होती है कैमरा के अंदर उसको रिड्यूस करती है.
Okay.
और यही नहीं, अब आप इससे क्या कर पाएंगे, all the the best of the best sceneries you wanted to capture, and that too against the bright light. You
Okay.
can capture them seamlessly without any glare. This is the magic of Zeiss T-Star coating. And third big benefit which I wanted to talk about, portraits. We all love portraits, right? Whenever
Yes.
we all wanted to give a fresh look to our DPs, our Instagram. So this is the time with X60 series, you can all change. It's time to change all that, right? Now, we call it as Zeiss Biotar portrait style. What it does is, if you would have seen in the launch event, it also allows our consumers to add swirling background effects. That's
Okay.
like dreamy bokeh you're gonna get with our Zeiss collaboration on all our X60 series phones.
Just a fun, just a funny little question that I have in my mind, and and I have this curiosity to know, and I'm sure all of our VBS would want to know this too, right? What is your favorite photography feature from the X60 series?
That's a tricky one. You're asking the product manager choose one question, one feature.
Just one.
Okay. I think, guys, let me tell you, there are a host of features which are pretty much packed in our X60 series. But since Miraj is asking me one of the top feature which I liked,
Yeah.
I would say, Miraj, I sort of like the night portrait features, right? Portrait we were referring just before, right? But it is just not about capturing the portrait. It is about, especially night time when there is the low light, you have to play with the low lights and up lights and highlights, right?
Yeah.
So in that scenarios, our camera becomes magical, magical. This SDR night portrait, we have put in lot of artificial intelligence algorithms, and our VBA would know what I'm referring, right? They have been interacting with our consumer. They tell, it's just not the hardware. There are a lot of software intelligence we have bunged into our device.
Yeah.
And what makes the SDR night portrait stunning is the super night algorithms, the ISO, the apertures. This is what Vivo is known for. We at Vivo, when we are redefining the pro photography, what matters to consumers, which brings the low light photography to the next level, is aperture, the sensors, the lens structure, the lens assembly, which we have actually empowered with Zeiss this time.
Yeah.
And for night photography, yes, ISO, right? We have got the best of the best ISO. If you ask me, from X50 to X60, we have actually increased it by 250%.
Okay.
Right? And
Wow.
that's not all. Gimbal, of course, people may not know. Let me tell you guys, gimbal just not help you for ultra stability. It also helps for taking the night photography to the next level, because gimbal actually increases the exposure time, and that's help for night photography.
Wow. That's a lot of things just focusing on night photography, and I'm sure this also works in other daylight conditions as well.
Yep.
And one thing that you have mentioned, and something that I found very interesting, is the aperture value. I think it has the lowest aperture value. If I
Bang on, Ro.
yeah,
Bang on, Miraj.
And I was blown away by that.
You notice it very well. Actually, for X60 Pro, the main camera, we have installed industry largest f1.48 aperture, which actually I want to tell my team out there, largest aperture means more light. And what amount of light more? It's like 16.8% compared to the previous generation. So X50 से भी ज़्यादा लाइट कैमरा में आएगी, तो इसका मतलब आपकी पिक्चर अब और ज़्यादा ब्राइटर होंगी, वो भी रात में.
And this too, comparing with the X50 series, which was already pretty good at these things.
Absolutely.
And 16 point something % better than that. That's
in fact,
amazing.
Miraj, in fact, जब हम X60 सीरीज बना रहे थे, तो हमने सोचा कि अपर्चर्स तो इंडस्ट्री का बेस्ट हो गया, अब कुछ हटके करते हैं. अब वो हमने कुछ हटके ऐसे किया कि आपने सुना होगा, हमने एक नई टेक्नोलॉजी इंट्रोड्यूस की है. इसका नाम है AOA, दैट इज एक्टिव ऑप्टिक अलाइनमेंट. थोड़ा टेक्निकल है, बट आई
मुझे
थिंक
जानना
नाउ
था इसके
वी आर सेलिंग द फ्लैगशिप सीरीज, राइट? तो आवर VBA शुड नो व्हाट इज AOA. AOA इज नथिंग बट एक्टिव ऑप्टिक अलाइनमेंट. ये करती क्या है, आपके 7 लेंसेज जो आपके X60 Pro के मेन कैमरा में दिए हुए हैं, उसको 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करती है, एक 6 लेंसेज में और एक 1 लेंसेज में. यही वो ग्रुप है जो आपको एक एडिशनल एक्यूरेसी लेकर आता है. सो अब सिर्फ आपका अपर्चर ही नहीं, AOA टेक्नोलॉजी भी आपको बेहतरीन फोटोग्राफी लेने में मदद करेगी.
अगर गिम्बल की बात की जाए तो देयर वाज ऑलरेडी गिम्बल व्हिच वाज वर्किंग अमेजिंगली, राइट? पर तो जिम्बल 2.0 में, सॉरी, should I call it gimbal or gimbal? I want to know.
Both are okay.
Both
I
are
think
okay.
Our promoters
Perfect.
will decide. Our VBAs will decide.
VBAs will decide. Please
how
let
it
us
needs
know.
to be pronounced.
Yes, please let us know. Is it gimbal या gimbal? और please comments में बताइए.
But मिराज, आपने बहुत अच्छा पूछा. I think कि जिम्बल में नया क्या किया. I think जिम्बल स्टेबलाइजेशन हमारा प्रेरोगेटिव है.
Yeah.
Right? It is something we got it into the market. Right? That was X50. X60 में we are taking it to the next level. Now let me spend few minutes and tell you what have we done differently next in gimbal stabilization 2.0.
Okay.
So basically, gimbal stabilization 2.0 से सबसे बड़ा बेनिफिट हमारे वीडियोस में मिलता है. अब आप 5 एक्सिस वीडियो स्टेबलाइजेशन कर पाएंगे. इसमें हम इस फीचर को नाम दे रहे हैं VIS 5 एक्सिस स्टेबलाइजेशन फॉर वीडियोस. तो फॉर एग्जांपल, यही नहीं कि अगर आप किसी मूविंग ऑब्जेक्ट को कैप्चर कर रहे हो, आप खुद भी अगर मूव कर रहे हो, उसमें भी आपको जिम्बल जो है आपको स्टेबल वीडियोस देगा, और वो भी 5 एक्सिस पे. 5 एक्सिस का मतलब क्या है? पहले जो था हमारा जो X एक्सिस था, ये Y एक्सिस है, राइट? अगर आप Y एक्सिस में शेक होता था तो Y एक्सिस की में स्टेबलाइजेशन मिलती थी. X एक्सिस में भी अगर शेक होता था तो स्टेबलाइजेशन मिलती थी. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आप फोन को अगर ऐसे शेक कर रहे हो या ऐसे शेक कर रहे हो. अब जो है 5 एक्सिस में, एक तो आप शेक Y एक्सिस में शेक के साथ अगर आपका मूवमेंट भी होता है, आपका हाथ ऐसे मूव करता है, तो भी आप स्टेबल वीडियोस ले पाओगे. इवन X एक्सिस में भी ऐसे भी और ऐसे भी. आपका फोन जो है, यही नहीं, साइड ऑन रोटेशंस भी ये कैप्चर करता है. अगर आप कहीं पे भी साइड ऑन रोटेशंस हो रहा है, तो 5 एक्सिस VIS स्टेबलाइजेशन का मतलब ही यही है. मैं सिंपल तरीके से बताता हूँ अपनी टीम को. आई थिंक बियॉन्ड द एंगुलर एडजस्टमेंट्स इन आवर फर्स्ट जनरेशन, we have actually improved lot of stabilization factor in gimbal 2.0. Now gimbal 2.0 has an added capability to compensate horizontal as well as vertical movements along with the side on rotation. That's what is the bigger benefit of gimbal stabilization 2.0.
वाओ. तो अगर इसको मैं समझा हूँ करेक्टली, तो पहले अगर मैं कोई वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करता था, इट यूज टू बी स्टेबलाइज्ड. अगर मैं कहीं भी रुक कर एक वीडियो रिकॉर्ड कर रहा हूँ, पर अगर अब मैं भागते भागते भी वो वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करूंगा, इट विल स्टिल बी स्टेबलाइज्ड.
बिल्कुल.
बिकॉज इट विल हैव मोर मोशन, it will have more sense of how to stabilize the video.
Absolutely मिराज, absolutely. इनफैक्ट यही नहीं, जिम्बल स्टेबलाइजेशन 2.0 में हमने एक स्टेबिलिटी ही तो दी ही है हमने, स्टेबिलिटी तो दी ही है, लेकिन पिक्सल शिफ्ट टेक्नोलॉजी हमने एक इंट्रोड्यूस की है, जिससे कि आप अब रियल कलर्स अपने कैप्चर कर पाओगे. होली की फोटोग्राफ्स, होली आने वाली है, राइट? RGB, जो RGB हम सुनते हैं, रेड ग्रीन ब्लू, ये तो इंडस्ट्री के लिए अब हमारे पिक्सल में और RGB इंफॉर्मेशन हमने ऐड कर दी है, राइट? इस पिक्सल शिफ्ट टेक्नोलॉजी से अगर मैं साधारण भाषा में बताऊं, मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा, इस पिक्सल शिफ्ट टेक्नोलॉजी के ज़रिए आप अपने पिक्चर्स में, चाहे वो आपकी वैकेशंस की पिक्चर्स हों, आप कश्मीर वैकेशन में जब जाते हो, वहाँ पर अपनी एल्बम में देखते हो आपके फ्लावर्स के कलर्स ऑफ नज़र आते हैं. होली फोटोग्राफ्स में आपका लाल गुलाल जो है वो पिंक नज़र आता है. तो ये सब जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं अब सॉर्ट आउट हो गई हैं. इस जिम्बल स्टेबलाइजेशन 2.0 के जरिए आप अपने सारे कलर्स को, उन्हीं रंगों को रेड दिखेगा, क्रिम्सन और पिंक नहीं दिखेगा. ये है पिक्सल शिफ्ट का.
तो मतलब अब जब मैं इंस्टाग्राम स्टोरीज डालूंगा अपने X60 सीरीज से, सो आई कैन गेट द बेस्ट कंटेंट,
मोर लाइक्स नाउ.
थैंक यू, दैट्स व्हाट आई नीड, मोर लाइक्स.
या
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दिस. आई थिंक बहुत ज़्यादा, और मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद आया था जब यू नो द फर्स्ट टाइम आई वाज डिस्कसिंग इट विद यू, पिक्सल शिफ्ट टेक्नोलॉजी. आई थिंक यूजिंग AI एंड एक्चुअली आप एक्यूरेटली कलर को गेस करना एंड टू चेंज दैट कलर, आई थिंक दिस इज़ a feat in any photography for that matter. और मुझे लगता है कि for all our influencer VBAs, I think this is the phone to go for, or all the other influencers too, because we need something handy. Nobody can carry a DSLR, but this phone sincerely seems like it has that capability to shoot professional.
Absolutely मिराज. In fact, सॉरी टू कट यू, बट एक बहुत ही बेहतरीन चीज़, जब हमारे कस्टमर्स दुकान पर आते हैं, आप उनको जरूर बताइएगा एक सिंपल सा बेनिफिट साधारण भाषा में, कि जिम्बल कैमरा सिस्टम जो है 3 गुना OIS कैमरा से ज़्यादा स्टेबिलिटी एंगल्स आपको देता है. बाकी के फ़ोन OIS पे सपोर्ट करते हैं, हमारा जिम्बल 3 गुना उनसे बेहतर है.
सो कमिंग टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट, दिस इज our value lesson, which I personally like the most. I want to know your point of view. What do you think the future for smartphone or smartphone photography is gonna be like? And I understand this is a question that nobody can actually give a completely, absolutely right answer, because nobody knows what future is. But I'm very interested to know your perception towards it.
That's a tricky question, Miraj, I can tell you, right? So actually smartphone industry is a very, very dynamic industry, right? What you think today, tomorrow someone already gets it, right? And you feel like obsolete. What I was thinking, wanted to launch, already someone has get it in the market, right? You feel like what to do, right?
ये हो रहा था, by the way. I was actually planning to buy a gimbal, phone gimbal for my phone. I think one of those. But now we have gimbal in our phones, so
absolutely. So I mean, think about technologies, be it inbuilt gimbal, pop-up camera, or 44 MP eye autofocus camera, right? We got it as a technology leader. We got it already in the market, right? But all I can tell you, we are doing a lot of researches with our consumers and our VBAs just to identify what should we be doing differently. I can't tell you about future, like what we're gonna get into the market. It is still under carpet projects, right?
I tried, guys. I tried.
Yeah, but all I can tell you, it is just not about the phone anymore. It's just not about the, you know, every phone has display, every phone has memory, every phone has, RAM and ROM, and it's all common, right? It's become a commodity nowadays. What will take us ahead? And what will be future of smartphone? Perhaps, again, it's my perception. I may be wrong also, but what I feel is, it's the 5G adoption in India, which will drive lot of use cases, right? That's one where a smartphone industry will see the things and the game of the rules getting changed. Second is AR VR, augmented reality, right? This is going to change. And third thing is, as I said, hardware is no more going to be the game anymore. It's the software, it's the content, it's the services and solution.
I'm right there with you. That's what I feel that too.
One of the great thing I would want to come back to RX60 series and tell you that what have we done differently. You might have heard in the launch I talked about virtual RAM, which is one of the groundbreaking technology we introduced in our X60 series. All three models have the virtual RAM, and I want to talk about it for some more time.
Yes.
Yeah, I think again this virtual RAM is one of the a brainchild of our engineering team who were thinking, what do we do differently beyond the hardware game, right? So what this virtual RAM is nothing but when you're doing a lot of multitasking, it gives you an additional 3 GB RAM. Yeah, I'll repeat, give you an additional 3 GB RAM.
Wait, really?
Yeah, so if you're buying a 8 GB RAM phone, it effectively becomes 11 GB.
How? Okay.
And if you're buying a 12 GB RAM phone, it becomes 15 GB.
Wow.
You asked me how. Let me answer that as well.
Also, I just realized somebody has asked the same question.
Yeah.
And in the Q&A round, we want to discuss more about it.
Okay.
So I want to keep everybody on hold for just a little while because
Let's keep that secret sauce for some more time.
Yeah. We'll end on that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's going to be very interesting.
Sure. We'll go with your advice.
Perfect. Speaking of that, we are now to the Q&A rounds, and this is very interesting, Vikas, because this time instead of me asking you some questions that our viewers have shared, I feel it only makes sense if they are here and they, if you see them and you hear the questions directly from them. So for the first question, I would like to welcome our first VBA from Kerala.
Hi, my name is Rich. I have a question. We see a lot of flagship phone coming in 108 megapixel. But why X60 series phone is 48 MB only?
Again, you have to address it to him.
Sure,
because I
Miraj.
already know now.
In fact, Shirijit, from our God's own country, I think the answer is very, very simple. Megapixel is just one of the aspects of photography, right? And we at Vivo, when we're talking about redefining the pro photography, we have thought little differently. It's the aperture, it's the sensor, it's the lens structure, it's the software algorithms which really makes your photography apart from others, right? This is where we need to focus. We as our VBAs, you need to sell these kind of terminologies and technologies to our consumers, right? It's just not a megapixel game, my friend, anymore. It is more to do with the lot of technology innovative things.
I hope this answers your question. And with that, I'm a little I still want to see the Pro Plus. I still want to see that leather. I have heard that phone has the way the back is designed is completely different.
Sure, Miraj, इतनी सारी बातें कर रहे हैं हम लोग, अब उस फोन को दिखाना तो बनता ही है. इतने वाव फीचर्स हमने बताए.
बिल्कुल.
So I'll request my friend Kushal if you can just hand over the phone, please. Thank you so much, Kushal.
Thank you, Kushal.
So Miraj, you can see the wowness. This is the flagship Vivo top of the line flagship product X60 Pro Plus. Wow. Friends, I'll tell you a secret about this phone. There is a secret behind the X60 Pro Plus. What is it? When you flip the phone, the dual tone step, the aspect ratio of the dual tone step is similar to the total phone aspect ratio. That's the magical thing which we even discovered from our designers in China. They told us the aspect ratio of this dual tone step is almost similar to the aspect ratio of the phone. That's the magic.
Wow, it looks so great.
Yeah.
One thing is about this texture. What do we call this? What kind of a leather? I heard it is called some sort of a leather. Is it
Sure,
leather?
Miraj. In fact, I'll tell you, when we were conceptualizing this phone, what do we do differently? This is Vivo top of the line flagship product, right? So, my friends, we deliberated over a long time to actually get down to this premium vegan leather finish. After going through hundreds of options and iteration, we thought, what do we do differently which can match this enticing combination of feelings? So finally presenting the Emperor Blue color in our X60 Pro Plus, which has got a vegan leather finish, which is one of its kind, and I'm sure you're gonna love it.
I think it's amazing. It kind of gives me a feeling there है जैसे कि the feeling that you get in very luxury cars जहाँ पे soft touch material use हुआ होता है, and this is like the way it is properly just stitched, or I don't know how.
Absolutely, Miraj. इस material में जैसे कि मैंने बताया, vegan leather finish is one of the प्रीमियम मटेरियल फिनिश विच वी कुड एवर गेट इन अ फोन. और बहुत सारे रिसर्चेस किए हमने. हमारे R&D डिज़ाइनर्स इंजीनियर्स जो हैं उन्होंने इसको स्ट्रिंजेंट ह्यूमिडिटी में, इसको टेम्परेचर्स लाइक -डिग्रीज में टेस्ट किया है.
When I'm touching it, देखने से it looks very elegant, but when I'm touching it, it feels, it is elegant, but it is also very rugged as well.
Absolutely.
Like
Since
it is luxury
X60
plus.
Pro Plus is our boldest attempt till date, so we can't really compromise with any other blah blah material, right? So it has to be premium, it has to be class apart. So vegan leather finish is the perfect fit for this flagship killer.
And that camera module is giant. It is so big. Like, you're shooting a pro. You have a pro device and a pro photography device when you look at this camera module.
Great to hear. I'm sure Miraj and
incredible to
everyone
look at.
out there who's all our viewers who are listening to us, who are watching us, I'm sure you're gonna fall in love with this color.
Well, thank you for showing us this phone, and I'm ever so quietly gonna keep it in my pocket. I hope that's
Definitely,
fine.
Miraj. Definitely.
Okay then. But anyway, coming to the second question that we have received from our VVA. His name is Manish from Jharkhand, and the question that our VBA has.
Hello sir, my name is Manish Kumar John. I am from Vivo Jharkhand. My question is that why we are still at 33 watt charging? Is it sufficient for a powerhouse like X60 series?
All right, so Manish wants to know 33 watt charging. It's fast charging, but why are we still at 33 watt charging? Why aren't we like some other competitors are going forward with higher watts and better chargers? So what do you have to say?
So Manish, a very good question. In fact, let me tell you, as I said in the beginning, we do a lot of consumer research, while defining what should we be doing differently in our X series, right? As I said, the top 3 triggers, the top 3 core values which our consumers really admire in X series is the impeccable design, the pro level photography capabilities, and third is the performance bit. So we thought, why not put our dollars, our energies on those aspects and in improving and taking it to the next level rather than the other things. And I must tell you, in most of our researches which we have done in India, we found that at least this fast watt charging is not in the top 3 or top 5 priorities of our consumers. But answer to your question, even 33 watt fast charging also allows our phones to get 100% charge in about an hour's time, right? And let me tell you, our X60 Pro Plus, the Vivo flagship product, comes with 55 watt charging as well.
Wow. So there we have it. We have different chargers, and the charger that we have, as we can say, for the base variant is also pretty good.
Yeah.
That can charge all the phone to 1 hour, and I think that's what we need. And that if we talk about realistic world approach,
Yeah.
I think that's good enough.
Yeah, I think it's I'm using the phone, I have no issues, frankly.
Yeah. And now for the last question, which is different because in the Vivo podcast, this question was sent to us by our retailer from Delhi, and his question is.
हेलो, आई एम नितिन गुप्ता, ओनर ऑफ सावित्री कम्युनिकेशन. क्या आप मुझे वर्चुअल रैम के बारे में कुछ और बता सकते हैं?
That is why I stopped you there when you were explaining about virtual RAM, because I got to know that this is a question our retailer also had from Delhi. And thank you so much for asking this question.
I think that's a really valid question. Virtual RAM, which is one of the groundbreaking technology we are introducing across our X60 series.
Yeah.
You know what it does? It uses an innovative algorithm to utilize the low activity storage space and add massive 3GB virtual RAM. So effectively, if I say, your 8GB RAM phone becomes 11GB and your 12GB RAM becomes 15GB RAM. Isn't it magical?
Yep. And crazy, to be honest. Like how does that happen? Like how do you take a 12GB RAM? How do you enhance 3GB RAM or a performance of increase the performance of a phone, which usually in traditional methods will need a hardware support, and how can we able to achieve that without that hardware being there?
Sure. Allow me to let you in on the secret now.
Yes.
What it does is when phone
Just
is
among all of us.
Sure, I think when the phone is intelligent enough, whenever you are playing games one after another or watching your Bollywood videos, you don't know when to stop. Yeah, you're watching 2-3 videos together. The phone is intelligent enough that it needs some additional RAM. So So what it does is, through these innovative algorithms, the AI we call it as, it utilizes the low activity storage from your phone, from your storage space, and actually convert this into RAM. So again, that's the magic. 8 GB becomes 11 GB and 12 GB becomes 15 GB.
Wow, that's a very smart engineering feat that Vivo is doing. That's incredible that we can increase the RAM just by, just by changing how our phone behaves and changing how the software behaves and making it more aligned with everything.
So that's what we call it as Pro.
Wow, that's magic.
Yeah.
Well then, thank you Vikas for joining us today. That's all the questions that we have for you. If you guys or all of you guys have any other questions, feel free to let us know in the comments below and let us know what we should be talking about in the next session of Talk with the Talent. But before we call it a day, is there anything that you would like to say? Although you have mentioned our VBAs, but still on an ending note, is there anything that you want to say to our VBAs?
All I can tell you, my friends, I think you are one of the biggest USP of our brand, right? 35,000 strengths of VBA. I think that's the forge we have, and I think we are very, very confident that even with X60 launch, NPL phase, you're gonna create wonders. You are again raise the bar high, as we keep saying, and the only message I have for you, have a high goal in your life. Always think big, dream big. This will take you ahead in your life. That's the only message I have for you, and keep delivering the way you are delivering, right? That's the message I have. Thank you so much guys for tuning in. Thank you very much.
Well said, Vikas, and thank you so much for joining us today and for joining us for our VBAs. And I think this session would have been very fruitful to all our VBAs. You can let us know how did you find this session and how did you like Vikas's outfit. I think it's on fire.